Today I'm going to teach you how to make a canvas. So this wood's already cut. This is 2 by 3. And then you're going to need little triangle thingies to put on the sides. So you can cut your own wood, or you can cut it, get it cut at Home Depot. And now we're going to attach the wood. Okay, now I'm just going to glue the corners together. Now I'm going to glue the corners together. I'm going to use a hot glue gun. You could use wood glue, or you can drill it, but I didn't want to do that today. Just hold it down and press it firmly. I'm using a square to make sure it's straight. Okay, now I'm gonna just staple it and make sure it stays together.
Nothing's coming out.
Oh no!
Damn
it, I'm out of staples. Pause it. Okay, now I'm just gonna staple on top to make sure it's secure. Okay, now I flipped it over and I'm just gonna staple the other side just to make sure it's secure. Okay, and these are little triangles, aka triangles, 90 degrees. Just put these in the corner to add extra support once again. I'm just gonna do the same thing I did before, just glue them and then staple. And just do that on every corner. Okay, now I'm gonna put the canvas on top, and I have a big roll of it, so I'm just gonna cut it to size. Let's stay right there. And when you're cutting the canvas to the wood, make sure you go a little bit over the wood, a few inches, because it's gonna be wrapping around your wood frame. So cut it. Right, and see how I left some of the canvas, I don't know, like 2-3 inches outside of the frame. I think is good. And then just start cutting. Alright, now that I have the canvas laid out, this is the hard part. We have to stretch it out, stretch it around the frame, and staple it. So my assistant here is gonna help me stretch it. You stretch it on that, like, well, actually, let's flip this over. Get it like even. And then just pull as hard as you can. And
I only got one arm.
You can do it. I believe in you. Yes. Just pull and hold it. See how it's tight? All right, and then on my end, I'm doing the same thing. I'm pulling it as tight as I can. Now I'm gonna staple it. Staple the other side. When you're doing this, you make sure you do one side and then the other parallel to it. So now you hold this side, hold it tight. Tight, as tight as possible. As tight as possible, directly parallel to each other. Hold that side, please. Okay. And while you're doing that, just make sure you pull the other side as well so that it straightens out or flattens out, whatever. I highly recommend to do this with a partner, but it's definitely doable by yourself. Tight. All right, now we're doing the other end, the bottom. And pull your part tight. Okay, now in the corners, there's a bunch of different ways to fold them. And I'm not very good at this part, but you can just fold them like that. Fold them over. And pull them really tight so you have them in there. Okay, so I stapled the canvas on the frame, and now I'm just gonna gesso it and then it's done. Okay, so now the final step, I'm gonna be adding gesso. I recommend using a big brush. Wipe any debris that you have on the canvas off of it. Can you get closer please so I can show the camera something? And when you staple the back, the goal is to get the canvas tight so that it's not loose. So it's fairly tight. Also keep in mind that when you add the gesso, it'll tighten it up. So any loose canvas like this, it'll tighten up. And we're going to be adding 3 layers of gesso. This is the first layer. Let me show you. The gesso. And do not mix your gesso. Actually, I think there's a few different variations if you can. I don't know. For this variation, I'm not mixing my gesso with water. Just straight gesso. Make sure you get the size. Alright, I'm gonna put this in a nice room to dry. Fix the spots that I see. Then I'm gonna add the second layer. I'll be going the opposite direction. After this is completely dry, then I'll add the second layer. Then after the second layer is completely dry, I will add a third layer going in the opposite direction of the second layer. And then I'll show you guys the final result. Okay, now I'm gonna sand it down with some sandpaper. This is the sandpaper I'm using. And that'll just make it smoother, so it won't be so coarse. Sand it down like so. Then circular motion. And after this is dry, I'm going to be adding the third and final coat, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. And then this is the canvas, nice and dry, ready to be painted on. So drop a like, subscribe if you like this video.